And the time now, 6:23. Time to take a look at our Chamber Connections. Joining me, Doug Luciani from the Chamber here.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Nice Friday morning. And one thing we're talking about is something that I think is a big buzz around town, and that's buying locally. And right now, the Chamber is kind of emphasizing something, the 20% local initiative. Talk to me about that, Doug.
Right. This really started with the Chamber looking at its own buying habits, and not so much what we buy in the office on a day-to-day basis, but the events that we do. We do a lot of big events, our economic forecast breakfast with 500 people, our annual dinner with 1,000 people. And we realized that if we could just make sure that we spent 20% of our event budget on buying local food, using local printers and local suppliers, that we could really have an impact. So we're working to expand that concept with some other partners.
And 20%, some people might think, wow, that's not, 20%, that's about a fifth of what you're doing, not all that much, but you were saying there could be an impact, there is a big impact.
Right, there's a big impact, and we're not the only people doing this. There's a lot of groups that are focusing on buying locally, and a lot of individual consumers really make a point of buying local products. And so they say, well, 20%, I'm buying 60, 70% local, or we keep 80% local, or we only buy local. Well, when you're doing big events, or if you're like a wedding, a family reunion, or service organizations that do weekly lunches and breakfasts, usually you just work with your event planner or with the venue. You say, here's what we want, and then they go buy it for you. You don't even know where it comes from. It's very hard because of seasonality, so in the winter especially, and because of the market, a lot of times it costs more to put 20% even on a plate in front of somebody, or to spend 20% of your budget locally. So it's not the end all, but it's a great place to start.
And you were mentioning some of the big events that the Chamber does. How can just the residents around town kind of improve their support of local buying?
Yeah, well, we're working on this with Events North and with Northwestern Michigan College. And what people can do when they work with an event planner, or when they're planning an event at a venue, whether it's their church or their Rotary Club, or for their wedding, their family reunion, whatever it might be, just ask your event planner, hey, can we try to get 20% local? What can we do to make sure that our printer is local, or the swag that we use is from a local provider, the food on the plate, the wine, the beer, even soda pop. It's so easy to just say, yeah, we want local wine. A lot of people think of that, and then they say, and then we'll have tea, coffee, and pop. So they end up with Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever it might be. Well, there's local soda pops that are really good.
Yeah, that there are. In fact, I've enjoyed many of them. So.
Yeah.
But want to thank you for coming in this morning and talking about this with us. And it's something that I think many people should consider, supporting your local stores, your local businesses. And you could do that even just 20% of what you do for upcoming weddings and events like that.
Right.
So.
I just would comment that the sector we're talking about is more than $1 billion industry just in our local area. So if we just reach that 20% goal, we'd be pumping another $200 million back into the local economy and keeping that money here instead of having it go somewhere else.
Well, that's some great food for thought, so to speak. So I want to thank you very much for coming in this morning. Now let's turn things over to Joe Charlevoix, standing by with a look at weather.